During a debate over the black farmers bill, Psycho Talker Steve King and Michelle Bachmann freaked out on the black farmers. They said most of the claims were bogus. Then they showed their true colors.
The fraudulent claims might be, well, Johnny, yeah, he was raised on a farm, but he wouldn't help his daddy. He went off to the city and became a drug addict, and when his daddy needed the help, Johnny wouldn't come and help his daddy. But now his daddy's died, and Johnny wants the $50,000 that comes from the USDA under this claim.
This is just flat out wrong. Can we say it? Can we be gutsy enough on the floor of this House of Representatives to say this is pure and complete fraud?
But of course, King took it even further, claiming Barack Obama had a racial motive because he supported black farmers as a senator.
We have a very, very urban Senator, Barack Obama, who has decided he's going to run for president. And what does he do? He introduces legislation to create a whole new Pigford claim. We've got to stand up at some point and say, we're not going to pay slavery reparations in the United States Congress.
The good news is the House passed the bill that will give more than $1 billion to help African-American farmers who were cheated out of federal aid because of discrimination. Joining me now is South Carolina Congressman Jim Clyburn, the House Majority Whip. Congressman, you know, I didn't see them do this on the floor, but when I saw the tape, I was thinking, gosh, right-wing talk radio has now reached the floor of the United States House of Representatives. What's your response to those comments?
Well, Ed, thank you so much for having me on the show. You know, when I hear those kinds of comments, I think back on another period of our history. You know, I used to teach history in our public schools, and I know a little bit about that period in our nation's history that we have worked so hard to get behind us and to lay out a future for our children and grandchildren that we all can aspire to. And to hear that kind of talk, especially when the Department of Agriculture said that they did, in fact, discriminate against these people, they asked us to find a way to have some modicum of justice for these people, and to have two members of Congress stand on the floor of the House and with impunity make these kinds of charges. It makes you wonder what has happened to our great country for people like that to be represented in this segment of it.
Reparations was the word that was used. Are you offended by that?
I am offended by that. The fact of the matter is, Mr. King doesn't know much about his history. The fact of the matter is when the whole issue of reparations has ever been presented to this Congress, it's not anything that anybody has ever put forward. What we said was, these are people who made applications for federal loans, qualified for the applications, or for the loans, but were denied. And they were denied simply because of their race.
Yeah.
And the department has admitted that that's why they were denied. That's got nothing to do. That's making people whole who should not have been injured.
Congressman, to your knowledge, the example that Steve King just used on the House floor, was that a hypothetical, or was that truly the case?
Well, it's some figment of his imagination.
Now, the kid left the farm, went out and got on drugs and everything, and stereotyped a young black American that way and gets away with it. I mean, you know, I have to ask the question, if this is how they act in the minority, how the hell are they going to be in the majority?
Well, that's what makes me cringe, because the fact of the matter is these kinds of thought processes will get put into legislation, and we can see where the clock could get turned back on so much of the progress that we've made in this country. And we have to be very careful of that. And so I would hope the voters out there, the public, will begin to respond to some of this, react to it, and let people know that you're not proud of this kind of talk taking place on the floor of the House, because we really ought to be about going forward together.
Congressman Jim